we want to start sewing, but in order to do so, we need to get ourselves some tools. But what do you need? You're a complete beginner. You don't know what to get. Well, I'm here to help you. You're going to need is a decent pair of scissors. These happen to be Fiskars, super sharp and cuts through fabric like a hot knife through butter. Don't let anybody else use it. It's only used for your sewing. So that's your scissors. Then you're going to need, so come put down my tape measure, a good long tape measure. This one is 120 inches long. I do like a long one, which is 300 centimetres. That's 3 whole metres. Great to get yourself a decent, I mean, you can't sew without measuring. So there you go. You're going to need a tape measure. Then you're going to need some needles, some household needles. Always very useful because you can't do everything on a machine. So get yourself some little pack full of different needles. You will also need my best friend, and it's going to be yours, is a seam ripper. Now I've got 3 different sizes here because I'm always losing them, but the different ones are for different types of fabric. That one's used a lot. I use this a lot more on some of my heavier fabrics, going right down to my teeny weeny one for those fiddly little stitches. Just slices through them and gets rid of all those mistakes that you make, because you are going to make mistakes. Even I still make mistakes. So that's your seam ripper. Then you're going to need some pins because you've got to hold everything together. I've got 3 different types here. I've got flathead pins. These are amazing because when you put them together through the fabrics to pass through the machines, the flat heads don't protrude, so it's easier for your foot to glide through them. Flathead pins. Then you've got your plain standard pins. You're going to go through thousands of these, and your pearl bobbly end pins. So you've got those. You're going to need a pin cushion. Isn't that cute? You can make your own. Also, bobbins. You're going to go through loads of bobbins. We've got metal ones and there are plastic ones, and it depends on your machine. So check what kind of bobbins your machine uses before you go out and try and buy some. Marker pens and chalk. Now you can just brush the chalk off. With the marker pens, they're amazing because when you draw on fabric and then you want to erase the marks, you just place a hot iron over it and the marks disappear, or you use the rubber end. Then can't live without a needle threader. It's going to go through. Look, my eyesight's not great, and even with glasses on, I can't always see to thread a needle. So your needle threader. You're also going to need a sewing box to put them all in. Love this one. I'm a quilter. I use a rotary cutter, although it's useful for whether you quilt or not, and it's great for cutting straight lines. This one's got a button there, which is a safety button. So if you happen to drop it, you're not going to slice your toes off and you're not going to break the blade. I highly recommend you get one. This one happens to be by Alpha, which is a really good, I mean, they're all good brands here. And a ruler. You're going to need a ruler to get those nice straight lines. It's acrylic. You're going to need a cutting mat to use with your rotary cutter. They're self-healing and you can get them either in metric or imperial, or sometimes you get imperial and metric on the same one. Come in different sizes. This one happens to be slightly on the small size. I do prefer the bigger ones because they're just so much easier to spread out your fabric on and just cut those straight lines, particularly if you're into quilting. So that's your cutting mat. That's the sewing tools for today. See you soon.